I still remember looking up into the sky that night. I saw the brilliant glow of light bouncing off of the moon. My words can't describe the sensation. There was a beautiful yellow cloud, like a heavenly bird spreading its wings for flight. I knew it meant something, but I didn't know what.
Sunlight stopping in the grass. Sunlight against trees, arms wrapped around their knees.
Regional dispatch, Mark.
Hi, my friend just got in a car accident. They got hit. I don't know if any of them, they're bleeding. I don't know what to do.
Santa Fe 911, where is your emergency?
Las Vegas Highway.
Tell me exactly what happened.
We were following someone, a car ahead of us, and they wrecked into this Jeep. Okay, you with the patients now?
They're in the car. They're unconscious and they're bleeding.
Stay with me on the line.
How old are they?
They're like 15.
What should we do? Should we do anything? Should we take them out of the car?
Dude, they're all Rose is gone.
You're right. Yeah. Please, come quick.
It was around 11:30 p.m. on June 27th, 2009. I was about to get drunk at a lake with my sister and her boyfriend/manager. She handed me a beer and told me that Mom had been telling her of my reacquaintance with Rose. She told me that she had had dreams of Rose. I kept the image of the moon in my head as my sister drunkenly drove us to her apartment. I wanted to tell her about it. I wanted to call Rose right then and tell her, but I didn't. Minutes later, it was too late. Rose was crushed to death by a drunk driver on the wrong side of the road back home. 2 nights before that, we were planning on her being there with me in my drunk sister's car. Safe.
What's on your mind?
She was the girl who could never get me to wear high heels, and she'd ask me every day if I was ever gonna wear high heels. The same answer every day was, "But your feet look like they just hurt. How can you do that?" She said one day she would get me to wear heels. And I said, "Good luck with that," and that was Rose to me.
Of memories like, hey.
The next morning, I felt sick when I woke up. My bones hurt and I wasn't hungry. I had some sort of flashbacks from the nightmare I had gotten during my rough sleep on my sister's futon. I checked my phone and saw that there were several missed calls from the middle of the night. Somehow, I had already begun to deny what I was about to hear. I decided to call Raphael first because he's like a brother to me. He broke the news to me in a way that cleared the largest weight in telling me first. Rose died, dude. And so did Kate and Julian. Avery's in the hospital. I refused to believe him. I felt like the wind had blown away with my logic as I nearly began to dry heave.
Everyone I talk to, nobody has a normal story about how you meet Julian. It's just not the way it happens. At first, I didn't know who the heck he was, and he just came up to me and said something along the lines of, "You have a quarter behind your ear," or something like that, and pulled a quarter out of my ear and then walked away from the bathroom. And it was in the girls' bathroom, too.
Hey, what's on your mind?
I told my sister that Rose had been killed, asked her for a pack of cigarettes, and started driving the 400 miles back to Santa Fe. I made the trip in less than 4.5 hours, in spite of picking up a hitchhiker and receiving my first speeding ticket along the way. Luckily, I was only doing 92. I smoked every last American Spirit in my sister's pack by the time I got to Santa Fe, stopping, with the hitchhiker, at the stain in the road that had claimed my 3 favorite people. More. The only person that I have loved both unconditionally and uncontrollably in my life. I understand that most people would expect me to say something inspirational or profound at this point, but I don't have anything like that to say. The reality is, it hurt. This was worse than my worst nightmare.
She was just a hoot to me. I had a funny relationship with her. She was a sweetheart. She really was. Like, I don't think, or not towards me anyway, that she had a mean bone in her body. Maybe towards other people, but I never really saw it. That's who she was to me.
But I won't let go.
I started to try to put the pieces of the last month back together in my head as if it were some kind of puzzle, in hopes that maybe somehow I could take the pieces apart and change things. There was a pink cross with Rose spelled out on it when I arrived at the Cathedral Park downtown, the last place I had seen Rose or Julian. I choked. I received condoling glances from my friends, flocks of hugs from girls. I accepted them all. The most significant thing I received, however, was the most bittersweet taste of reality I could imagine. Guilt, inspiration, self-resentment, appreciation, hatred towards existence in general more than either of the drivers. I felt oppressed by the universe, but maybe I needed the oppression to give reason for change.
Sail away from a sinking city.
I met Alyssa in 7th grade, and we ended up in all the same classes, and our lockers were next to each other, and she was pretty down. She had some of her hair was dyed blue at that point. She was a pretty punk 7th grader, and she was really awesome. We'd have a lot of fun. We could just talk, and that was something that we always had. We could always just talk about.
Alone is easy enough to be. Play your own games as you please. Let your thoughts all have their way with you. Someday they'll bring you to your knees. You don't need sleep.